Good morning, everyone. This is a quick video just to talk about, in case you need it for your lab report, how to do some of the work in terms of graphing and stuff like that. So let's take a look really quickly. Okay, so I'll start here with the density of my oil. So one question I have for you all to think about is, do we want to deal with all 5 trials of our density of oil? Hopefully you think about it and the answer to your question is no. And then the question is, how can we come up with a number to represent these 5 different densities in the most effective way? So for the purposes of time, I'm not going to give you time to think about it. Of course, you can pause the video and think about your answer. But what we're going to want to do is get the average oil density. Okay. And one thing, I should have said, what I'm in right now is I am in Google Sheets. And so if you are like in your Google Drive, you can do new Google Sheets and you can get to this. And this is a very powerful tool that you can use. So to calculate the average oil density, what you would normally do is you would add all 5 of these densities up and divide by 5. But the power of Google Sheets is it'll do it for you. So if you check out this button here, functions, okay, it's sigma, looks like a kind of funny E, okay, you can click on the arrow there and then see how it says average here. So you can click average and then you just highlight what you want to take the average of. So see, it says average E2 to E6. This is E2, E3, E4, E5, E6, like it's the cells in the sheet. And so it does average E2 to E6 for you, and then I just hit the enter button and it does my average for me. So it gets an average 0.899. Okay, so that's how you're going to get the average density. Now if you come back to the lab report, it's asking you for different tables, density of pennies, density of various liquids. So like when you're thinking about this table, all right, this density of various liquids, you can just make a table with the average densities. And also this accepted values of liquid densities, you could combine these 2 tables if you want into one. So you can think about how you might want to do that format wise. All right, coming back to this. Okay, so I have my average oil density of 0.899. Now, and so I'm going to put it here in my average experimental density column that I have here. Sorry. Okay, so the tricky thing that I was going to go over with you all today is that you need to make a column graph of the density of various liquids at room temperature. So I'm going to show you how to do it on Google Sheets here. Okay, so notice I wrote this out before. Okay, so I have my liquids and I listed my liquids here. Okay, then I made a column with average experimental density, and notice that I put grams per milliliter in the column, not in the number. And then I've already put in my accepted densities, which I gave you grams per milliliter, and I put them again here in the columns like this. Okay, so I'm just going to make up some average densities that I came up for these things. Let's say 0.987 for water, 0.955 for vinegar, 0.864 for rubbing alcohol. All right, whatever. Okay. The beauty of Excel is if you just put them all in here like this, and again, notice, all right, I have the liquids and I wrote them down coming this way in columns, and you got to go in columns for Excel to do it, or excuse me, Google Sheets to do it, which is the same as Excel. Average experimental density, again, I just went down the column, but did not write the units in here. The units are up here, and you'll see where they show up on the graph later. And then accepted density. I can actually do a graph. Now, on the assignment, it only asks you to graph the experimental density, but you can graph them both. All right, and so it's super simple. Now, all I'm going to do is I'm going to click on any part of here, and I'm going to drag so that I highlight everything. Okay, so this is a click, hold, and drag. Okay, you can do that with a mouse. If you have a mouse, you can do it with your trackpad, but click and drag. All right, and then once you click and drag, you're just gonna hit this insert chart button here. It looks like it's up there, or you can say insert chart. So you can either hit the insert chart button or you can insert chart. All right, so I hit the insert chart button. So click insert chart. All right, notice it automatically gives me a scatter chart. I don't want that. I asked you for a column chart. So this is the column chart here, or you can find it down here, column chart. Okay, so take a look. All right, it automatically did it for us, which is what I expected it to do in the beginning. All right, and gave us water, vinegar, rubbing alcohol, cooking oil. And look, there's a blue column for experimental density and there's a red column for accepted density. Okay, so this is a beautiful chart. Now, is it done? It's still not quite done. Okay, what are we missing here? What are we missing on the left side? Okay, we're missing an axis label. So you can go to customize chart and axis titles. All right, and then if you click on that, you can say vertical axis title, and then what am I going to type in here? I'll type in density in grams per milliliter. Okay, you can see that pop up over here. All right, and if I want to change my chart title, if I want, I could change it. I could be like density of liquids versus accepted densities, or whatever. You can call it whatever. I mean, call it something that you think is descriptive. But anyway, again, I just highlighted the whole thing and then insert chart. Okay, and then Excel pretty much did it for me, but then I just need to, or Google Sheets did it for me, but I just need to check to make sure like I have all my labels in there and stuff. And then once you have that, all you got to do is copy chart, and you can copy the chart into your lab report. So I copy chart, edit, paste chart. You want it to link to spreadsheet, and I'll show you why. Okay, so I link it to spreadsheet, and then it's in there. Why do you link it to spreadsheet? Because of this. Let's say at some point you find you calculated something wrong. Let's say I actually redo my calculation. I'm like, oh shoot, my experimental water isn't 0.987, it's 0.8. All right, well, let's see what happens when I change this to 0.8. All right, so watch the blue water column here. If I change this to 0.800, watch what happens. You see that blue column changed? All right, that's the beauty of Google Sheets. Like, as you change these numbers, the graph will change for you, so you don't need to make a new graph every time. As long as the graph is looking at the right data, it'll change them. But because we linked it, if you go back here, if I click this update button, it even updates the chart in Google Docs. Okay, so that is, you know what? I should just leave that in there. So that is kind of what it's like to, like a quick tutorial into how to make a graph. If you need help, please let me know. I'm sorry I can't be in today, but hopefully this will help you to make the graph for your lab report. All right, good luck everyone.